Hello and welcome to another lecture on the anatomy of hoof, basically. And today we are going to compare the digits of ox with that of horse. So in case of ox, that we have already discussed, that in case of ox there are two digits having three phalanges. So this is one of the digit I have put it here. So one phalange is this is the proximal phalanx, then middle phalanx, then distal phalanx. Likewise there will be here one more proximal phalanx, middle phalanx, distal phalanx. That means there are two digits in case of ox, while in case of horse there will be a single digit. This is the metacarpal, this is the first phalanx, this is the second phalanx, this is the distal phalanx or the third phalanx, forming a single digit. Then we are going to compare between the phalanx, because this is the first phalanx, what we call as a proximal phalanx. So this is the proximal phalanx or the first phalanx in case of horse, you can see that. So both the bones you can see that. So this big one is in case of horse and the small one is in case of ox. Both the bones are classified as the long bones, having the shaft here also, then two ends. This is the proximal end, proximal extremity, then the distal extremity. The proximal extremity in the both the bones is larger as compared to that of the distal extremity. And here also in case of ox, it is just divided. Proximal articular area is divided by this sagittal groove. Here also in case of horse, the sagittal groove divides the proximal extremity into two articular areas for the articulation with that of condyles of metacarpal. The distal extremity, here distal extremity is having again a division by this sagittal groove in case of ox into two condyles, and here also in case of horse also there is a sagittal groove that is dividing these into two condyles. So the only difference you can find on the surfaces, this will be the dorsal surface in case of so this is the dorsal surface of the phalange. Then backside it will be the palmar surface. So the palmar surface you can see here, there is a rough triangular area on the palmar surface, and that is for the attachment of sesamoid and ligament. Distal sesamoid and ligament will be attached here. So this is one of the difference between the two phalanges of horse and ox. Then this is the second phalanx in case of horse, and this is in case of ox. So you can see here the difference is that the distal articular area in case of ox just occupies the half of almost the distal half of the shaft. Here you can see that, while in case of here no such thing will be observed in case of horse. You can see here. Then if you see the width of this and width of this, usually this bone, the second phalanx, also known as the short pastern, in case of horse is usually wider and then it is length, while here the width is less, the length is more. So these are one of the two differences between the two phalanxes. So this phalanx, the first phalanx in case of horse, is also known as long pastern. So coming to the third phalanx that forms the hoof in both the animals. So this is the third phalanx in case of horse, and this is the third phalanx in case of ox. So the difference is there because it will be a single digit here, here the two digits will be there. Then this bone is also known as the coffin bone. So it is here. So this is the third bone, the coffin bone. And usually likewise in case of ox, this bone takes the shape of a hoof. Likewise in case of horse also, the bone takes the shape of the hoof and is considered as the short bone. And this bone is having three surfaces. One of the surface you can see here. So this is the anterior surface. So this is one is the anterior surface here. Then one of the surface is on the back side here, that is touching the ground. So likewise this, so this will be the anterior surface. Then underneath, that is touching the ground, will be this will be the volar surface. Then one more surface is here where the second phalanx will articulate like this. So the second phalanx will articulate like this. So this surface is called as the articular surface. So the three surfaces, the anterior surface, the articular surface, and the volar surface. So this anterior surface, if you look out, there will be so many foramina here. So this is the feature in case of ox also. Here there will be so many foramina. So anterior surface will be having so many foramina, plus the anterior surface on its proximal area, what we have colored here, or you can see here also. Anterior surface usually on its proximal side have the extensor process here. So this is the extensor process you can see here. Likewise, in case of ox also there is extensor process on this area, on the anterior surface also. In case of horse there is a extensor process. So this is the extensor process on the anterior surface. And if you look out on the volar surface here is divided. If you look out here, so from here up to here, this is the volar surface. So the volar surface is basically divided, having the two parts. One part is this concave part, big concave part, divided by this ridge or arc into two areas. One is this area and one is this area. So this big concave area is called as the volar area or the volar surface or the solar surface, and this small area is called as the flexure surface. So this is the flexure surface. So this is usually in the semilunar shape here, and here there will be the attachment of, on this flexure surface there will be the attachment of the deep flexure tendon. So the deep flexure tendon will be attached here. Then if you look out on the borders of this bone, so borders of the bone will be between this surface and this surface. So this is one of the border. Then one more border will be between this surface and the articular surface, that is this border. So this border is usually straight. Then one more border will be between the articular area, this and this surface, and this border will be having in its middle the extensor process. You can see here there is an extensor process, and usually here the common extensor tendon will be attached here on the extensor process here. Then this bone will be having the angles. So there will be the two angles. So one of the angle is here. So this is one of the angle. This is also known as a wings. So one angle is here and one angle is here. Two wings, having the two wings, and these two wings will be divided into two parts, either by the foramina or by the, here you can see that. So these will be divided by the foramina or by notch. So in this hoof you can see that one wing is having foramina, division by the foramina. You can see that. So this wing is having the foramina, division by the foramina, but this wing is divided by the notch. So this is divided into two parts. One is here, upper part, and the lower part. This is the articular area. So articular area is for the articulation with that of the second phalanx, and this forms here the coffin joint. So these are some of the differences between the phalanges of horse and in case of ox, having only the single digit, having the two digits, plus you will have sesamoid bones here. So usually this joint is the fetlock joint, and there will be the two sesamoids on this joint. So two sesamoids will be here. Then this is the pastern. There is no sesamoid bone. Then here between the second and the third phalanx, this joint is called as a coffin joint. There will be one sesamoid. So altogether in the forelimb of horse there will be two proximal sesamoids and one distal sesamoid. So three sesamoid per limb. While in case of ox, the digits are 2. So this joint, what you call as a fetlock, will be having two sesamoids. This joint, pastern, will be not having any sesamoid, and this coffin will be having one sesamoid. So two distal, two proximal, and one distal, altogether 3 to this digit. Then here 2 and 1 for the another digit. So here in case of ox there will be the 6 sesamoids. In case of horse there will be only 3 sesamoids. So this was about the comparison between the digits of horse and ox. Thank you.